one step after another, hour after hour, day after day. They never stop walking. Tonight, we'll imagine what it would be like to survive such a world as we travel through abandoned streets, small towns, and forgotten highways. You'll be watching gameplay from Left 4 Dead 2, one of the greatest cooperative survival games ever created. So lock the doors, turn down the lights, find a comfortable place to rest, and let's begin. No one knows exactly how it began. Some believed it was a virus. Others said it escaped from a laboratory. There were stories of contaminated water, military experiments, ancient diseases, hidden beneath the ice. No one ever proved the truth. By the time people stopped arguing about how it started, the world had already fallen apart. Television stations went silent. Emergency broadcasts became less frequent. Hospitals overflowed. Police stopped answering the radios. Within days, entire cities became ghost towns. Not because everyone had died, but because those who remained were running. The first lesson of survival is simple. Do not panic. Fear creates mistakes. Mistakes create noise, and noise brings the dead. They hear everything. Imagine dropping a single glass bottle. The sound echoes through an empty street. For just a moment, everything is quiet. Then footsteps, hundreds of them, not running, walking, constantly searching. They don't think the way we do. They don't plan. They don't negotiate. But they respond to movement, to light, to sound. In this world, silence becomes your greatest ally. One survivor can become tired, hungry, injured, or hopeless. 4 survivors share every burden. Someone keeps watch. Someone finds food. Someone carries medical supplies. Someone never lets hope disappear. Perhaps that is why Left 4 Dead 2 still feels so believable. Not because of the zombies, but because it reminds us that survival depends upon each other. Eventually, every survivor searches for the same thing. A place to stop moving. Not forever, just for one night. A safe house, 4 walls, a roof, a door that still locks. A place where exhaustion can finally replace fear. In Left 4 Dead 2, safe rooms represent the end of one journey and the beginning of another. For a few moments there is silence. Weapons are reloaded. Supplies are shared. Plans are made. Then the door opens again. Outside, the world has not changed. The undead are still waiting. They always will be. Before the outbreak, people valued money, luxury, convenience. After civilization collapsed, everything changed. A flashlight became priceless. A bottle of clean water became more valuable than gold. One box of ammunition might determine whether you lived another day. Simple tools became the foundation of survival. A hammer, a lighter, a first aid kit, a map. Things once taken for granted become irreplaceable. Every abandoned storehouse, every abandoned store, house, and gas station becomes a chance to survive just a little longer. Stories about zombies often begin with monsters, but they rarely end there. Eventually, another threat appears. Other survivors. Not respond to disaster the same way. Some people choose to protect others. Some choose to protect only themselves. Fear changes people. Desperation changes people. History has shown that when resources become scarce, trust becomes difficult. Perhaps that is why so many zombie stories focus less on the undead and more on humanity. The monsters outside are dangerous, but the choices inside our own hearts can be far more important. Imagine months have passed, then years. The panic begins to fade. Communities grow. Children are born into a world they never knew before. Schools begin again. Gardens replace parking lots. Neighbors look after one another. Little by little, hope returns. Even after the greatest catastrophes, humanity has always found a way to rebuild. Perhaps that is our greatest survival instinct. Not merely to endure, but to begin again. There is something curious about apocalyptic stories. We know they are fictional, yet they continue to fascinate us. Maybe because they simplify our lives. No emails, no deadlines, no traffic, only the essentials. Food, shelter, family, friendship, purpose. In many ways, zombie stories aren't really about the end of civilization. They're about discovering what truly matters when everything else is gone. Even today, Left 4 Dead 2 remains one of the finest cooperative games ever created. Its campaign feels like an interactive horror film. Every match is slightly different. The director ensures that players never become too comfortable. One moment the streets are quiet, the next an enormous horde fills every direction. Success depends not on perfect aim, but communication. Watching each other's backs, sharing supplies, remaining calm when everything falls apart. Perhaps that's why the game continues to be loved so many years after its release. Because beneath all the horror, it reminds us that survival is rarely a solitary journey. The dead never grow tired. They never question their purpose. They simply continue walking, day after day, night after night. Rain, snow, heat, cold. Nothing changes their direction. Perhaps that is what makes them so unsettling. Not their appearance, not their numbers, but their persistence. And yet humanity possesses something they never will. Hope, compassion, creativity, the ability to dream about a better tomorrow. As long as those things remain, the story is never truly over. And that brings us to the end of tonight's journey, through a world where they never stop walking. Together we imagine what it might take to survive when civilization has disappeared. Not simply through strength or speed, but through kindness, patience, preparation, and the willingness to help those around us. While we've explored this fictional apocalypse, I hope you also enjoyed a little journey through Left 4 Dead 2. Even after all these years, it's here at Pixels and Playbooks ASMR. If you enjoy relaxing documentaries about video games, movies, sports, history, please consider subscribing for future journeys. I'd love to know what your favorite zombie game or movie has always been. Perhaps it's Left 4 Dead 2, Resident Evil, The Walking Dead, or 28 Days Later, or any other story that made you wonder how you might survive if the world ever changed. Until next time, take care, stay safe, and remember, even when it feels like darkness is everywhere, hope only disappears when we stop looking for it. Have a great night.